Hey everyone, Jennifer Lee Chan here, NBC Sports Bay Area, and the 49ers suffered another loss, 40 to 34 to the Detroit Lions in a game that seemed like they had a chance. And I know the biggest thing coming out of this game is Brock Purdy healthy? He said he felt like he had fire coming down his arms when he couldn't throw, didn't go back into the game. Josh Dobbs went in for him. So he said that they did the UCL test, it came back negative, so it's not the same, but he said it kind of was that same heat coming down his arm. I mean, I know that we've all banged our elbow on things and felt that kind of like tingling and heat from for quite some time, but not enough like this. So, it was a patchwork offensive line. I don't know why the 49ers got away from the run game early in after the first half, but that I think would have alleviated some of the pressure that got on him. But I mean, the first half of the game, no pressure on Brock Purdy. The offensive line, that it was kind of a patchwork thing. Guys that have not been on the team for more than a week really actually played well. They had a good game plan. Kyle Shanahan dialed it up pretty good. They were moving the ball. They had a ton of momentum and they were scoring touchdowns. And then the second half came around and Brock Purdy had a couple picks. Um, he threw though 27 of 35, completed 27 of his 35 attempts, 377 yards. There's just no defense in this game at all. Three touchdowns, two interceptions. Um, Big hitters. George Kittle, Ricky Pearsall had his coming out day, which was fantastic. George Kittle is now a has reached the 1,000 yard mark in four of his eight seasons. I mean, honestly, George Kittle's on a Hall of Fame trajectory. If he continues playing like this, he will definitely make the Hall of Fame. He is a one of a kind tight end, and you know, the 49ers are lucky to have him. They are going to have to pay him more money during the offseason. He is under contract through, I believe, 2026, but there's no guaranteed money in 2026. So, to play through 2025, kind of like Christian McCaffrey, kind of like Trent Williams, they're going to have to pay him some more money to keep him in the building. And I think they will. Uh, but also great news for Ricky Pearsall. He caught eight of his 10 targets for 141 yards and got a touchdown. His journey, I mean, all of his teammates after the game were talking about how excited they were for him, even though it was a loss for Ricky Pearsall to be able to go out there and do what he did. I mean, that one-handed catch that he pulled in as he kind of fell out of out of bounds. I asked him after the game, I said, hey, were you surprised that you were making that catch? And he said, no, that's what they brought me here to do. He was brought here to beat man coverage, and that is what he did because the Lions played a lot of man coverage. He got open, he had a lot of separation. Holy cow. And I think this is kind of just a glimpse of what Ricky Pearsall will be going forward. I think he's got a bright future ahead. I think Kyle Shanahan will dial up some stuff for him, and he's going to be open. And just the more reps he gets with Brock Purdy, the better he's going to be. And, he's missed so much time. He missed a lot of training camp. He missed OTAs. He had a hamstring injury, he had a shoulder injury. He was shot and is now back playing football. So just, I mean, everybody in the locker room was so happy for Ricky and, just his coming out party, which was great. Obviously, Debo Samuel had a touchdown. They didn't run the ball as much as I thought they would, especially with the line being the way it is. Josh Dobbs came in for Brock Purdy, scrambled for 7 yards and a touchdown. He looked pretty good too. John Jennings, great game, seven catches on 10 targets for 67 yards. Just a tough day though for the defense. They have not been able to get takeaways at all. It's been 6 games since they had a forced fumble or an interception or any turnovers at all in the 49ers benefit. 6 games. This is a team that is known for getting takeaways. They had led the league in 2023 in takeaways, and they just have not been able to generate them. No one in the locker room has any idea what is going on. I mean, but they've missed their opportunities. Talanoa Hufanga told me, he's like, we've all had opportunities. We just haven't, you know, taken advantage of them. Balls have been going into defensive backs' hands. They've either dropped them, they haven't been able to pull them in, but they've had their ops. So, there's also been a lot of inconsistency on the defense. They'll have 3 plays where it's a tackle for a loss, pass breakup, and then they'll allow an explosive for 12 yards. They cannot get off the field on third and long, fourth and long. So it's just been kind of a mixed bag on the defense. But of course, one of the major topics of conversation is Jake Moody. Even my mother, who's actually sitting next to me in the room over here, said Jake Moody has one job, and he didn't do it today. He missed a 51 yarder, 58 yarder. Those are kind of a little bit more forgivable, but missing the point after attempt and then the onside kick where he didn't even give his team a chance to recover. Those are kind of the unforgivable things. You even an onside kick that doesn't go, they're very low success rate. I think it's like 20% success rate, 25% percent success rate on onside kicks, but at least give your guys a chance. I mean, it just went flying out of the field of play. So, you need to have the ball kind of skip. I know they practice this, but Jake Moody, I don't know if he's a guy that is back. Maybe they need to bring a guy in for competition. I mean, the guys that they've had when Jake Moody was out have played better. Jake Moody was 12 of 13 in his field goal attempts before he suffered the high ankle sprain. After the high ankle sprain, he's 10 of 18. He's missed 8 field goal attempts. This is not good. Not good at all. Asked him about his confidence level after the game, and this is what he said. Definitely, probably one of the lowest times in my career, dating back to when I first started playing football. Confidence, you got to keep it high. You have no other choice as a kicker. You've got to keep staying confident in yourself. Otherwise, you have nothing. Got to stay confident and go on from there. So he's saying that his confidence is the lowest it's been since he's been a kid. This is not good. So the 49ers either need to bring in some competition for him, rebuild his confidence. Maybe he needs to see a sports psychiatrist. I'm not sure what's going on, but definitely something that needs to be worked on. I think that they let him kick next week in Arizona just to see what he can do. I mean, it's a meaningless game. Let him go out there, see if he can kick again, if he can get past it. If he can't, then I don't know if he is on the team next year. He is a high pick. He was a third round pick. So maybe they keep him around, let him compete against somebody, but he is not long for this 49ers locker room if he stays, if he doesn't improve in his kicking field goals. 58 yarder is a long one, but he's done it before. 51 probably should make it. Extra point definitely should make it. So outside of that, I don't think there are any other injuries. It's just Brock Purdy, which is just not great. Hopefully, it is not an injury that will cause any surgery or need any surgery or extended time off. But he is getting imaging on Tuesday because it's Monday night. So the next day he will get some MRIs, make sure, see what's going on in his arm. But he was unable to throw the ball on the sidelines after the injury. So that is not good. Um, I had said before the game that I thought it was, you know, any healthy player, even in a meaningless game, has to go out there and play. They're playing for their next contract. They're playing for the pride. They're playing for better tape, of themselves. They're playing for the future. So I did think Brock Purdy should play, but I did say if Brock Purdy gets hurt behind this Patrick offensive line, it is going to be a really bad look for this team. And this is what happened. So we'll see what goes on. Conference call tomorrow with Kyle Shanahan. That's Tuesday. But man, this is not good for the 49ers if Brock Purdy is hurt. So he's going to get paid no matter what because he is the leader of the team. He is the quarterback. But man, just not a good look for them to put him out there and behind this Patrick line and get hurt. In other news, I saw Aaron Banks. I saw Dre Greenlaw. I did speak to Dre Greenlaw a little bit pregame, and he said, I'd love to be back, but he's like, I don't know if it's going to happen. But he did say he's like, if they want to make it work, they'll make it work. So if the 49ers want to have Dre Greenlaw back, which I think they really do, they figure it out. They figure out a way where it's a 3-year deal, 2-year deal, but guaranteed money in the first year because he has had a little injury history. But I do think they want to bring him back. So I think that's kind of one of the top guys that they need to focus on in free agency. Talanoa Hufanga is another one, but they do have Jair Brown and Malik Mustafa. But the linebackers, man, that is a healthy Fred Warner and a healthy Dre Greenlaw changes your entire defense. So my 2 cents, I think that's who they got to take care of, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, my instant analysis of the game is that the 49ers could have won this game. They just had to play a clean game, no picks. That one that was to Ricky Pearsall sailed over his head. That ended up as one. Um, so yeah, both of them really just inaccurate passes. Kind of, it's his inaccurate passes are always over the middle. Maybe it's because he's not quite tall enough to see over the line. Maybe he doesn't really throw picks that often on the sides where he can see a little bit more. So I don't know. We'll see. All right, everybody. Hope you have a good night. Don't stay up too late. And I'll talk to you tomorrow after Kyle Shanahan's conference call. All right. Bye.